Hi, everybody. I'm Tennant Nicholson. I'm the Chief Creative Officer of Wasabi Publicity. And we just did a live real PR in real time session. We're actually doing a campaign where we're letting people see inside the publicity campaign. And we're doing it with Clayton Moore, author of Good Cop, Black Cop, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. And it's a 6-part live series that we've been doing with him and the National Association of Nonfiction Writers brought it to us, and we're doing it in conjunction with them. I wanted to give my reflections on where we are in the process, and just, we're about to wrap up. We've got one more session. We've had 6. Well, the next time we'll have 6. And today what we actually talked about was actually preparing for media interviews. So the first couple of sessions dealt with the why of doing a media campaign and what are your messages. And if we think about messages, they're really just amplified, your messages on loudspeaker. When we think about the news cycle and press, that's what we're doing, is we're taking a message and we're putting it on loudspeaker through the news cycle. So one of the things we then did after we prepared our media materials with online press kits and pitches, and I distinguished all of that, we actually then talked about, well, how do you actually reach out to people and get connected to them? Then what are you going to say once you're on there? And that's really where we are right now. After you score the interview, then what are you actually going to say with the press? And that's what really what we were talking about today. And one of the things that I talked about was the technology, making sure that you don't let a bad connection ruin the interview, just like any relationship, right? So when in order to build a relationship with somebody, they need to be able to understand and hear you, see you, connect with you, right, as a human being. But you also want to dress to impress. So you and your environment, you want to make sure that you look professional and that you are professional, you act professional, you sound professional. Then the other thing is knowing that person, whether they're a print reporter or a broadcast journalist. Are they looking for more stories that are visual, or they want more scoops and education? Just knowing who that person is, maybe tying into something personal about them. And if they want questions ahead of time, like your talking points, go ahead and send that, but make it simple. There's always the magic of the number 3. So I like to just ask clients, like, hey, you're going to be doing, let's pretend that you're talking to 1,000 people. What is the message you want them to come away from your interaction for them to integrate into their own lives? And make that simple to 3 words, right? So if we're looking at this, what I'm communicating to you right now, it would be relationship, professionalism, and then expertise. Right. So I'm going to, like, in my head, I've got my notes, like, okay, we're going to be talking about that. And then the overall is, don't let a bad connection ruin the relationship, dress to impress. That's both you and your environment. Help the media focus on your expertise. What are these interview questions? And then sound bites, your answers. Okay. These are things that you can think about ahead of time. But at the end of the day, it's the interaction between you and that press person. And what they're really interested in always is that story behind you. And that's something that I blog about at storytellertothemedia.com. And you can read about my insights on that. And this is all part of our giveaway right now to help people pivot and stay powerful in the pandemic. And I really want you to be powerful in the way that you voice your platform, that you talk about your book and your organization and who you are. And that's the whole reason. So I'm also really moved by how the people in the 6-part series that's going along this journey with Clayton Moore, and how grateful they've been, and just also how they're just showing up on the planet, right? So for anybody who's making a difference and you want your message to be magnified somehow, I just acknowledge you for being willing to step outside of your own comfort zone to be of service to other people. And that's all you're really doing. You're just sharing your story to enlighten, educate, inspire other people. And just to remember that, because then when it gets a little scary, you can just say, you know what? I'm just volunteering my services anyway. And so it's all okay. Okay. And then that way you can actually then jump into that fear zone and then just contribute to be with other people and help them out. And that's all you're really doing with the press anyway. So that's what we talked about, and I think that it can get frustrating for people when they're wanting public relations. And just remember that it's at the end of the day, it's about the relationships that you form with these newsmakers, and they're just looking for honesty anyway. And they're what they're doing is taking your honesty, your story, who you are, and they're creating it into something dramatic that captures the attention of the press, because we also want to be entertained at the end of the day, right? So these are my reflections on what happened today, and I hope that you are able to be powerful as well right now. Uh, Over at pitchrate.com, you can get our workbook, you can get access to the series, you can read my blog, and just let us know if there's something here at Wasabi Publicity that we can do for you. And if you need support in any way, no matter how small or how large, we've set up in a system so that you can get that support. So just let us know, and you can write us. You can actually write my co-host from today's series at Hannah at wasabipublicity.com. And if you also need to write me, just to keep it consistent with the storyteller moniker, you can write me at storytellertothemedia at gmail.com. And have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.